Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
WWE SmackDown is in the can. Get ready for another fabulous Friday here on Wrestling Insiders. A new episode is up next.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome to another Wrestling Insiders. It is certainly a busy week, as my voice can say, but I'm very happy to be joined by my cohort, my partner in crime, my sometimes friend, sometimes enemy, maybe a frenemy, Mr. John Cena Sr. Johnny, a pleasure to have you back here.
Always a pleasure to keep you guessing, Dan.
Well, I understand. I heard the helicopter on the roof early this morning. You came in style.
That's it. Why not? I was going to take the limo or the copter. I figured I'd just fly in. I talked to Trump early this morning. Things are going well. The presidency, had a cup of coffee, flew in. Here I am.
Well, I understand you're giving him some sage advice for the big election coming up.
When he's victorious, you will all have a celebration.
You'll be headed down to D.C. in the
I may be
helicopter.
appointed to a cabinet position. We'll wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see for that one.
Which cabinet I'll be in, I don't know. Check all the doors.
Well, the only cabinet they usually put me in is the one with the Cheez-Its in the kitchen. But
that's fine.
That's
No
a
problem.
different
Another story for another
different
time.
That's
Yep.
right. All right, Johnny, it is an unfortunate time in the world of professional wrestling. We lost one of the brothers, a good man, a man that if we were able to have our actual Back to the 80s live event that was actually going to be not only at Memorial Hall in Melrose, but here in studio, Road Warrior Animal, Johnny. I know the fans really enjoy your tributes. They're very heartfelt, deep meaning. Animal, certainly one of the great legends of this sport, one half of the greatest tag team, or one of the greatest tag teams in the history of the genre. Passed away at 60 years old, day after my birthday.
Brother to John Laurinaitis.
Johnny Ace?
Yep, Johnny Ace, good professional wrestler. But you got to stop and think. We already lost one of the duo way back. And then, I don't know, you know, those days were hard days, road days. They didn't only wrestled hard, they played hard.
Too much playing.
Yeah, but I think once again, you know, I keep saying it, Ernest Hemingway said it best, for whom the bell tolls, and today it tolls 10 times for our friend Animal. Because to be here and give us what he gave us, the intensity that he provided in the arenas around the world, and to have him be picked away so early is a tragedy at this point. But a better place, and as you would say, probably it's a better time.
Well, just very odd. His birthday was just a few days ago. Then he was celebrating his anniversary with his wife when he passed. Just kind of an odd month all around.
Well, you know, we can never pick the day and the time. And I think, you know, Disney's Lion King really says it all. It's the circle of life. And so we start here and we come right back to the very end. So that circle is always complete. When we go, where we go, we'll never know that. All I can say is he did what needed to be done. He lived every day to its fullest. Enjoyed life, enjoyed professional wrestling, enjoyed his family. You know, that's what life is all about. No tears at the end. I don't think we should be crying or upset or sad. We're certainly hurt by the loss, but think about the memories. It's the memories that keeps Animal and Hawk and Jimmy Snuka, you know, and Brian, the Brain. Those are the things that we remember. Their legacy is what they left us.
It was a full 60 years of life.
Yeah, he never stopped. He worked hard and played hard.
Well, so where would you rank the Legion of Doom as far as top tag teams of all time?
Right at the top. I have to tell you.
They're number one to you.
Oh, those guys, when they hit the arena, it exploded. The intensity of the match. You could always count on a match that would bring you to your feet, whether they were faces or whether they were heels. And then when they had that rip-off that Triple H created down at NXT those two guys that came out.
Oh, the Ascension?
Oh my God! Oh, what that wasn't even a tribute. You know, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. That wasn't flattery. That was just in the face. That was awful, awful.
Well, a lot like our good friend Tony Atlas, Animal found great success very, very young. I mean, he was pretty much picked away from the bar scene as a bouncer up in Minnesota with a tough crew of guys. Himself, Hawk, Rick Rude, Barry Darso, who was Demolition Smash.
Yep.
A lot of those tough Minnesota guys all went on to become big-time professional wrestlers in the 1980s, but probably the most successful was that pairing of Hawk and Animal together. It was just magic. I think once you broke their formula, they had a little bit of a tough time. I mean, they were used to the bell rings, they kick ass for 2 or 3 minutes, and then boom. When they went to WWF, I think the adjustment, they didn't have the success in WWF they had everywhere else.
No, because it was a different kind of writing, different kind of format. They weren't allowed to do all they used to do.
Right.
And you're right. You kind of threw them a curve. When you threw them that curve, it kind of derails that car for a while. But they still had the intensity. They just weren't allowed to go out there and do what they would normally do.
Right. And you know what? Here we'll be in 2020, and I don't know what Halloween will look like, but you still see young adults, even in this day and age, 20, 25 years past the quote-unquote prime of the Legion of Doom, and you still see kids dressed up as painted as Hawk, as Animal, with the styrofoam shoulder pads, and so they'll definitely be remembered. Hawk, we lost way back in 2003.
That was another tragedy, yep.
Yeah. But it really just, another Corona disappointment. I was really looking forward to having him not only at the live event, but he was really interested and engaged in coming to the studio to be part of the talk show series. So
He was a great guy.
Yeah.
Had a lot to say, good or bad, good or bad.
Very blunt.
Yeah, that's what I liked about him.
Very opinionated.
No cards up his sleeve. Always put him face up. He truly will be missed.
No
he
BS.
will be missed. What's that?
No BS.
No BS.
And you know how much I appreciate that when it comes to some of our bookings.
I think some of the younger wrestlers are going to miss him.
Oh, sure.
Because he was willing to give. So it's kind of tough when you lose somebody like that. But there again, it's the circle of life, and I'm sure it's not the last. Let's hope it's not a string, but it's not the last.
Do you think WWE misses the boat by not giving these guys a better tribute on the TV shows?
Yes.
I agree with you 110%.
I can't agree with you, and we don't agree all the time, but I can't agree with you more at this point. They really need to hold these people who have passed on and provide them with worthy tributes. Bobby the Brain, Jimmy Snuka, Animal, Hawk, you go right down the line. I think they should have had a real big tribute for Kamala. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a guy that worked his way up from nothing, a truck driver, and somehow it's just like, okay, we're sad about their loss. Monday, Tuesday, or whatever it is, we're going to have a little tribute, and it's done. It's forgotten.
Well,
it's over.
We could be wrong. We're taping this on Monday, so Raw hasn't aired yet, but they had plenty of time on NXT and SmackDown. SmackDown featured the 5-second graphic in memory of, and then in the middle of the show, they had a 30-second segment of tweets that other people wrote. I don't consider that to be much of a tribute.
It isn't even a tribute. It's filler.
Yeah, exactly. And when you look at some of the content that they throw out there, ad nauseum, repetitive matches, long, repetitive promos, and you can't give 3-4 minutes to have a nice montage, especially for someone like Animal, where, they produced a very nice Legion of Doom DVD documentary 15 years ago. All you had to do was just take from that. You didn't even have to edit something new. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think also what they should do, or what they had done in the past, was to bring out the locker room. I don't care how you divide it, but have that 10-minute pause or that 10-bell pause where everybody is taking part. That includes, Hunter, it includes Stephanie, Pat Patterson, whoever. I sit back and I say, why not? Look at what they did. If those men and women, Fabulous Moolah, take a look at them all. If they didn't do what they did, these young people would not be where they are today. They paved the road. And for some reason, they put potholes in that road. That's not right. Give them what they deserve. A good farewell. And I really mean that. I think the locker room should have been emptied. I think the 10-bell salute should have been done. They should play it in memory of. You know what? You can do promos all day. There's very little wrestling now in WWE. It's all give me the stick and let me talk. So why don't you just nail a few promos out? Why don't you allow this to happen and let's move on?
I couldn't agree with you more. Could you imagine a Red Sox legend passing away, and then if you put on the Red Sox game that night, they have a 5-second graphic? I mean, come on.
That's not a tribute. It's filler. It's filler. I'll stand right here and I'll say it to anybody from WWE. That's filler, not a tribute.
And as a proud WWE stockholder, I say that.
Oh, you have a lot of stock, do you?
I have stock. I don't know about
In
a lot.
WWE?
I do. And I miss where it was.
I probably
That's
should.
another reason why I'm tough on it sometimes.
I probably should have bought it when it was $15 a share.
No kidding, right?
Stephanie just dumped $2 million.
But when you own that much, that's something to
She's
sneeze
billions.
at. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know if she's got billions, but she's got probably hundreds of millions.
Yeah,
probably,
nickels and
yeah.
dimes. Nickels
Yeah.
and dimes.
But the internet gets in an uproar. Stephanie McMahon sold $2 million worth of stock.
It's nothing.
Well, when that's a 0.5% of what you own, I mean, do you?
I know. I have a ton of stock
Do
myself.
you have any WWE stock?
I have one share.
Do you?
I have one share.
Just to say that you are a partial
That
owner.
I am a partial owner of WWE.
Well, I tell you, and you know I think the world of one of your former adversaries, John Layfield, but one of his tips was to wait for Disney to tank to about 80 and then buy, thinking that their streaming service is going to be on par with Netflix.
Right.
And I kept waiting for it to tank, and it kept going up. So I do have some Disney, but I was waiting to see if it went to 80 to 90 like John thought it was going to drop to.
Mulan failed.
that
That
what it
failed
was? Yeah.
miserably. The live action redo of the Mulan failed miserably. The last one they did, Beauty and the Beast, was successful. I think that the Jungle Book was successful, but then they seemed to get on this roll that we got to remake these classics. Can't happen. Can't happen. It's like professional wrestling. Leave the memories the way people remember Beauty and the Beast, the Jungle Book, Baloo the bear in Jungle Book. But Disney has a tendency to be all about this. I think that, they took the Star Wars franchise, they butchered that.
I think there's just too much. It's almost like WWE. There's too much of it. Did
I
they
agree.
really need to have them? And I don't know too much about Star Wars other than, that exists. But it seemed like every year there was a new one. That's a lot of movies.
Yes, it's too fast, too quick.
Yeah.
Yep, too fast, too quick.
Now, are you a Disney stockholder now? I'm getting very personal with you, Johnny. Do you have any Disney stock?
What would my friend Donald say? My portfolio is my business.
Is that what he said?
However, I would
Like his
say
tax returns,
well,
too.
great tax returns, smart businessman, isn't he? What's it all about? It's all about where the write-offs are. And if he did it legally,
If it's done legally, how can you complain, right?
what can I say?
But some people will complain about everything.
But your answer is this: I do not own Disney.
You don't know. Would you? And do you think Disney would be a good buy? Do you think that streaming service will take them to Netflix-like levels?
I do not believe they'll be able to compete with Netflix.
Really?
Even though Netflix is, I think, on shaky ground, because what's happened is Disney's obviously pulling everything out of Netflix. They can't show their stuff anymore. DC is pulling Batman and everything else out because, I don't know if you've been to the DC channel, really very nice.
DC has their own streaming service?
They do.
I didn't even know that.
Yep. And the superheroes, as you know, Disney owns all of Marvel Comics, so that's going to be pulled. I think, Netflix is holding their own with their new productions. The question is, will they be able to compete? Because there'll be more and more and more and more streaming services, and I'm sure you're aware, you must own cable stock. And
do.
Dish, I sold all that because
Because you think it's going to...
it's going to tank.
So you don't even think a company like Comcast is going to be worth holding on to, really?
No.
Even with all their different revenue streams?
As soon as you if they have a revenue streaming service, you're going to end up with a Roku or a Hulu. You're not going to have a cable converter box. You're not going to have a Dish TV on your roof. You're going to work off a Roku, and you're going to work off of the Wi-Fi and stream. You'll be able to pick what you want to watch when you want to watch it. That's why AT&T is trying to sell DirecTV. They lost millions. Millions. So I'm
you
not a
dumped
fan.
it. All right.
Not a fan.
Well, you're a
Anyway,
smart man.
what's got to do with wrestling?
Well, but see, we always drift off into
I know.
these
Get back on track.
interesting different topics.
Let's get back
Now,
on
I know you didn't have a chance to see the WWE Clash of Champions pay-per-view. I think you would have been impressed. Probably the best pay-per-view this year. I was blown away by that. And I think you may hate the reason why, but they had to wind up rearranging the card, eliminating one of the women's matches, turning the other one into almost a non-existent match, having Asuka go out a second time. And I think it really improved the quality of the show. But more than anything coming out of that show, I could not applaud WWE more for how successful they were in the execution of the Roman Reigns and Jey Uso match. What they're trying to turn Roman Reigns into as far as the quote-unquote king of the tribe of the Samoan dynasty, trying to humiliate his cousin. The execution of it, Johnny, it was magic. It reminded me of the good old days. I guess maybe the best compliment I could give it was we did I told you, the live watch-along with it on the YouTube channel. I felt like I wasn't watching WWE in 2020. It was like it was a throwback. The humiliation that Roman put the cousin through, and then at the end he took Jey Uso's Samoan lei, and Paul Heyman put it over Roman's head as he raised the belt into the air. It was fantastic, Johnny. You would have loved it. They've done a great job with this Roman heel turn.
Thanks to Paul Heyman. I'm sure that Heyman's been writing a lot of the stuff for Roman Reigns. And if you remember, when you first asked me about Roman Reigns, I said, not interested. He's not going to make it. He's not going to pull it off. He can't do it. They're pushing him too fast, too quick. What happens is they turn him heel. They've done a great job turning him heel. Even his facial look. He looks grubby. He's put on a little bit of weight. He doesn't have all that jacked up muscle look.
Now he removed the vest.
Best thing he could have done.
Now, yeah.
Best thing he could have done. Disassociate yourself from the past. Deal with the present. You know, as I say to a lot of people, and I said it last time here, you know, when you get up in the morning, you're walking forward. Don't look backward, because that's not the direction you're going in. Roman Reigns is headed in a great direction. He's got Paul Heyman, who could do nothing but put this kid over more than he ever was. Now you're going to put Raymond in a position, or Reigns in a position, where down the road you'll be able to turn him into a tweener. You won't be sure what he is. And then from tweener, he'll go to, whoa, I can't make up my mind who I am, which side I belong on. Put him over on as a face. In 2 years, great.
And you know what's funny? We've had this conversation before. I've always been probably one of the few in my age demographic, very pro-Roman. I think Roman is fantastic. I think he always delivers when he's on a big platform. I think the problem is, if they presented him now as a babyface, I don't think the fans ever would have turned on him. I think if they kept him serious, if they kept him intense, I don't think the male demographic would have turned on him so much.
Well, the stupidity of the writing.
Well,
You know, that's all, folks. That's just stupid. That means nothing in professional wrestling. You once again demean the character. You take away from what you're trying to portray. And the other thing is that I don't like about the storylines is they last a month and a half.
Right.
Bruno Sammartino had the belt for 7 years or whatever it was. He was out there. We don't have that anymore. So you've got to have a storyline that's meaningful. Hopefully they'll keep this going. Hopefully Heyman will find another protege, because obviously Reigns is going to be able to pull it off on his own very shortly, hopefully.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, Johnny, but on the internet rumor mill, there was talk that one of the co-main events at Mania could be Roman, you know, obviously with Paul Heyman in his corner against a babyface Brock Lesnar if he resigns, led to the ring by you. Is there any validity to those rumors that were on the...
What do you have in your cup?
Those Wrestling Observer
What do you have in your
websites?
cup?
It's an empty cup.
Oh, I'm sure. That's like empty
It's an
words.
empty- are there any-
empty
is there any
words.
rumors to that?
No truth to the
Any
rumors.
truth to the rumor,
No,
I should say.
I think the WWE and Johnny Fabulous and John Cena Sr., it's been a great ride.
Yeah.
I
Even though
wouldn't
you-
mind getting back on the bus again for just a short term, but there's no hope of me ever, what's his name,
Even
Chris
though
Jericho?
you were just in a documentary that was released this month.
I understand that documentary was very, very well received.
One of the
I'm
most
told-
watched documentaries in the history of the network.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I understand it was well received. I was told by someone that it was well done, and I was the emotional glue
Really?
that helped. Yeah, the emotional
The emotional glue.
Yeah, I really would like to see it. I can tell you this:
You
that
know, I'll
the
not to-
taping was great.
Not to interrupt, but
No, you may.
one of the fans suggested that, like we do with the pay-per-views, maybe we should do a watch-along of the special sometime.
I would think that'd be great because
Well, I don't know if you're familiar with what we do is, but we tape the show as it is. Only we'd have the documentary playing on the TV, and you
Yeah.
and I would comment on what was happening. So that might be fun for a future episode.
absolutely,
Yeah.
I think that'd be great. The fans
Yeah.
would appreciate that. And
Yeah.
you don't have to do John and Edge. I mean, I understand that it's going to. I think. I'm not sure.
I think there may be one coming down the road with Randy and myself. I'm not sure about that yet. But
Well, I tell you this, there was another rumor. I know you didn't have a chance again to see that pay-per-view, Clash of Champions, but for the ambulance match between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, they brought
great
back
match.
all of Orton's former enemies that Orton put out with the punt, Christian, Ric Flair, The Big Show. People were expecting you to pop out of the ambulance and get a little revenge on Orton for that punt to the head, those 6 stitches back in 2007.
Is that the call I missed?
That must have been it.
Vince didn't
That
call.
must have been
I'm
it.
sorry. He probably called John Cena Jr. and said, "Oh, you want to do that?" No, it was,
He got the wrong John.
He got the wrong
He got
John.
the wrong John.
I
That was
would
the problem.
I would love to get revenge.
You need a little revenge. That man, not just once, but he had his hands on you several times. A Raw main event. There was that night in Providence. Just when you thought the dust had settled, you were in the front row with the woman that looked like John Candy's wife in the great outdoors, dragged you over the barricade, and he got you again.
All I can say is this: if they ever have arena shows, I'd be a little skeptical about being in that front row. You know what? Orton
It doesn't go well for
he's
you.
but he's unstable. Orton is unstable.
Yeah.
I got to give this kid a lot of credit, and I really mean that. I see a lot of things about him. He's top notch in the business. He understands this business. He knows how to play the audience, something they don't teach today.
Right.
Ring psychology. And he knows the exact moment when to snap, when to not snap. You never know what's going through his head. And now with all this punting, I don't know why I wasn't there, and I appreciate it. The big names, the ones that counted, were there. But you watch, this guy is amazing. And I did see clips of that ambulance match. I thought that was well done and well put together. I thought that was just right on target.
It wasn't really much of a wrestling match, but it was a good brawl and it was entertaining to watch.
And that's what you're looking for. In that type of match, it shouldn't be a wrestling match. It's who can kill who first and get him in that ambulance.
But even with that, it did not have the intensity of that Roman Reigns Jey Uso match. That was just, I
maybe
continue
I'll
to say
take a look
how
at
well
it.
done that was. Let me ask you this, Johnny. Do you think it was a good idea to put Jey Uso, where the brother is injured and out for a while, in the single spotlight in a pay-per-view main event like that? The Usos have had their, documented troubles, the DUIs and such, but, the match itself, you couldn't have asked for much more. Do you think would you have given the man that opportunity? Do you think it's been earned with some of the out-of-the-ring issues the Usos have had?
You know what? Let's forget about the out-of-the-ring issues.
All right.
Because there ain't one of them in the industry that hasn't had them.
You're saying everyone in the industry's had a DUI.
They've
or
had
multiple.
but they've had traffic tickets. So let's, you know
right.
what?
Fair enough.
We all have issues. We all have issues. The thing I say about issues is they're lessons. Life is a road. When you go down that road, you trip, you fall. That's a lesson. Hopefully you learn from it. If you don't, you're a stupid ass, as Chris Jericho would say. You're a stupid ass. So I think it was very smart. And this kid's going to have to go singles anyway. So
Well, they do nothing with him until
right, and then they'll let him go. They'll let him go. So why not put him in a position with somebody they praised, with somebody that they helped, and all of a sudden, guess who your opponent is? And guess who's going to make you look like a piece of crap? The very guy you held up here, Samoan blood, this, that, the whole bit, he just humiliated you. He's going to prove who Big Samoan is and that's me.
But
Great.
And as I was trying to state during the pay-per-view itself, during the watch-along, you know, wrestling fans are enjoying a wrestling match. To Jey Uso, that truly was one of the big moments, the big nights of his life. That was a chance for him to elevate himself beyond multi-time tag team champion to someone that they could look at as a potential multi-million-dollar single star.
There you go.
That would provide a much healthier financial life for his family and for his kids. That was a huge night for that man. I don't know what WWE officials thought at the end of it, but for him to go out there at that level, to be in a pay-per-view singles main event, where for the 10 years he's been with the company, he's been featured as a tag team wrestler.
Yep.
I mean, what a night for him as a human being, not a professional wrestler.
Well, it just proves something. You can break the team up, and you still have a wrestler. This was, I think this was a proving ground for him. He's either going to make it or break it. If he went out there and broke it, he'd be all done. I think he proved that he could do it. He worked well. I've heard all kinds of compliments. You're not the only one. And I think that he will survive. Because of what he just did, he will survive. And I don't think the storyline's going to end there.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'd say it was superb until the finish. The only thing I didn't like was the brother came out on hopping on one leg, and he tried to reincarnate Helen Hart at Survivor Series '94. He had the white towel. Should I throw it? He wasn't even a manager in the match. He just came out from the back with the towel, and should I throw it in? Should I throw it in? That lacked believability. I think if it was me and I had that magic pencil, and I don't know what you think, you can give your opinion in a sec, but where Roman was just destroying the man and he couldn't fight back, I would have rather have seen it have been like a UFC fight and the referee just calls for the bell. He can't compete anymore. He's done. If this match continues, he risks permanent damage. Just end it. Instead of...
Any blood?
No. Instead of, should I throw the towel? Should I throw the towel? Why would someone that isn't a manager throw the towel?
Okay, now I'll be the other side of the
All right,
coin,
let's hear
but
it.
I have to agree with you. The reason you bring him out with that towel, if he threw the towel, just think of the storyline, brother against brother.
You think
You
the Usos may
stopped.
turn?
You stopped.
year.
That's right.
Well-
I had a chance and you blew it. I was okay. He may have been pounding on me, but I was still willing to try to fight back. I don't disagree that the believability would be the fact that the referee says, over. Make it look real. You follow what I'm saying? Bring him in, drag him out. But to bring that out like they did, as you're stating, with the towel, and that's a, you know what, that's a Bruno Sammartino thing. That's a Bob Backlund thing. You know, it doesn't work unless
But
you're
they
in.
had real managers with them. His brother wasn't a manager.
Right.
He was just a random wrestler that ran out on one, hopped out from the back with the
Or
towel.
put him in commentary. So
Yeah.
now it makes sense. But I really believe if I were writing that, I would have brought him out with the towel, because the next phase of the storyline is you cost me the biggest match of my life, and I really wasn't finished. I had more left. Who are you?
Do you think it maybe would have made more sense if before the pay-per-view, Jimmy Uso politic to become his manager for the night, just so he had an official role, for it to make a little bit more sense for him to be out there with the towel?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Then it would have made more sense, more believability.
Just a small detail.
And then you're still setting up that battle between
Yeah.
the brothers. I think that's the way it's going to go. You wait.
That'll be very interesting.
You're
And I'll
right.
tell you this, I love the Usos as a tag team. You talk about guys that never failed to deliver.
Yeah.
One of the best tag teams of the decade. I know I got into an argument with the individual known as Glantz, comparing how he was almost insultant that I would compare the Usos to the Young Bucks, but I love the Usos. I think they're fantastic.
They do a nice job. I had a chance to work with them independently before they went up the ladder there. Great guys, really understand the business. But I really think that they've got them both in a very good position right now. And I think that hopefully whoever wrote that understands that they didn't finish the storyline.
I hope you just get a chance to watch that entire match from bell to bell, because I know you were very busy at Cena Estates over the weekend, and you only had a chance to see some of the clips. But just
did.
the pure intensity, it took you out of the WWE mindset of 2020 into something that was just, it was very different, and it was great.
Retrospective.
It was whoever was that almost the entire pay-per-view from top to bottom.
Retrospective.
Losing the Nia Jax tag team title match, It didn't hurt all that much either, but that's a different story for a different time. But overall, it was, I think, the most enjoyable big event they've had in 2020.
Well,
and that's a great thing. Build on the momentum, baby.
There you go.
Build on the momentum.
Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
All right, wrestling fans, we're interested in your thoughts, your memories on Road Warrior Animal. You can leave your comments below. What did you think of Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, or the pay-per-view itself at Clash of Champions? Again, leave your comments below. We have the live chat going in the premiere after SmackDown every Friday night at 10 p.m. I'm sure Rick B is with us up in Maine. Tina, Maria Davis, all these different ladies that are so happy to see you here, Johnny, from all over the globe that tune in to see you. I know our new friend Larson, I'm sure he is popping in, and I don't want to leave anybody up, but we have such a great crew of regulars that like to tune in to the live cyber premiere of the shows, and we have fun talking back and forth. Maybe some Friday night you'll pop in and say hi.
That's a very real possibility.
It's a real possibility. I see what they're saying about us live, and I understand, well, it is October now. You know, the jackets are going to have to come out soon. And with that comes the holiday season. I don't know if I want to offend anyone and use the C word. Would I offend you?
C word?
Yes, the C word.
This is a G program.
Christmas.
I was thinking, okay, sure, all right. Yeah, I would, yeah.
A lot of people get offended by that now.
No,
Oh,
because
you thought I was going somewhere else.
you know what? You know, here's my whole thing on that. I am very offended by what's happening with Christmas. I was just in Walmart. All the Christmas trees are out.
I saw that the other day.
Horrible. Lowe's, Home Cheapo, they all have all this stuff out. Why take away the beauty of the time? It's been lost. It's been drained. It's been drained on parents trying to buy the biggest and the best. Instead of giving the greatest gift of all, which is love, sharing, and caring. I predict this year there'll be no big Christmases. It will be family Christmases. You'll be sharing it with your loved ones.
The Christmas could be on Zoom for some people.
Well, you know what? That's got to be. It's got to be. But maybe this is going to bring people back together, and we'll understand what Christmas is all about. I get sickened when I see that, that people would start to. It's all about retail. It's not about family. Get the biggest gift. People punching each other in stores over PlayStation 5s? Are you kidding me? Please, come on. Give them an IOU. Next year you can buy all you want. Who says they got to have it this year? Let's stop and think about the greatest gift we have. Family, children, parents, grandparents. Take a look.
It's been a year where we've lost a lot of human beings.
Yeah, Hawk. You know, look, take a
I'm
look.
not talking about just wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, you know, with what we
good
faced
friends in
life in 2020.
Yeah,
It's been a
stop and look
year.
at it. And really, you know, the biggest present necessarily isn't the best one. The smallest present is given with all your heart, all your caring, and all your love. It means more than the PlayStation 5, the Nintendo Sling, the talking Cabbage Patch. We've lost track of that. Let's hope we get it back, because Christmas is for children, and deep down inside, we're all kids.
We're all kids.
We've all lost it. So you haven't offended me, and you know what, fans? If he's offended you by using the word Christmas, I really don't care, because the first time, I'm on Dan Marati's side.
Maybe a holiday miracle has already come. Well, the point I did want to make, Johnny, was I understand from my sources that for the holiday season, you won't have to worry about yourself or the relatives being parched at any holiday gathering. The Fabo Pop is going to be available again, from what I hear.
I'm working now with my supplier. I'm actually trying to work on another flavor.
Well, I know there were 5 of them, but one of the bottles smashed and broke one time, so we only have the 4 left.
You have cream soda, you have root beer, you have orange, you have lime Ricky, or raspberry lime,
yeah.
which
so what
is
are we missing?
My favorite. I have grape.
That must have been the one that smashed and broke.
And I'm trying, if he'll do it, I'd like to produce bubblegum.
Bubblegum. All right, well, in addition to that, fans, we got the great items up on eBay. Not only do you get a fine collectible, but you get a shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas on the show, and you keep the lights on here at the studio. It isn't cheap to have such great talents here. And let's face it, Johnny, a lot of the great wrestling veterans are hurting in 2020. They're going 6 months without being able to have personal appearances. In Tony Atlas's case alone, his wife suffered that stroke back in June of 2019. She's been hospitalized since, lost her income and job, and now because of coronavirus, Tony's lost not only his wrestling appearances, but his job as a personal trainer. So to be able to come down to the studio and earn a bit of a living, it's a great thing for him, and you fans can directly help make that happen. And we got great merchandise. The Super Chat is always open during the premieres, and the Patreon. Not only do you get early ad-free access to all of our great talk shows with Johnny, Tony, Marty Jannetty, and some of the other great guests we've had, you also get access to the Studio Shoot interview DVD library with the Iron Sheik, Paul Bear, and so many other great legends. And again, you're helping keep the great veterans working. And you can go to patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. So for my good friend, Mr. John Cena Sr., we're in the holiday spirit, maybe just a little early. And we'll be back again next Friday night after SmackDown. How's that sound?
Love it. See you then.
Good deal. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours be well. More important, stay healthy. Good night.